So welcome back to another rebuild here on NBA 2K25 Next Gen. In today's video, we are back with another episode of the Curry era rebuilds, and today it's the Toronto Raptors. Now, this was a very interesting era in terms of Toronto basketball. This was a team, and really just an era in general, that the Raptors were always pretty good. They were pretty consistently one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference. There were always relatively high expectations with the duo of DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. And then, of course, pretty much every April or May, came a man named LeBron James, aka LeBronto, and never allowed Toronto to finally get over that hump. So this team today, obviously our goal is to get over that hump. I mean, of course, in real life, years later, they traded for Kawhi and then won a championship. But this was a very, I guess, I don't want to say uninspiring era of Raptors basketball, but it kind of felt like a flat era, if you will. Of course, let me know which other teams from the Curry era you want me to rebuild. We will eventually be getting to all 30 of them, but we've been on a pretty good pace of doing a couple of these every single week. A couple of rebuilds of the Trading Every Player series that we've been off and running, and I want to get back into some rebuild challenges as well. So anything and everything you guys may have for me, let me hear it down below in the comment section. I am excited for this one today. This team is already pretty good, and of course our goal is to kind of get them over that hump. So let's do that. Let's get into it. As these rebuilds have been going so far, there's pretty much always one or two notable players that are missing from the actual teams in real life, that being because, 2K can't get the rights to those players, so they can't put them in the game, whatever. That player is Serge Ibaka, which sucks because Serge Ibaka was the third leading scorer on this team, arguably one of the more important defensive pieces, and I would have loved to have had him here today, but 2K is going to 2K at the end of the day. So let's get into it. Let's talk about this roster in the way things stand right now. Of course, starting out here at the point guard spot, Kyle Lowry is a 90 overall. He's 30 years old, somehow only making $12 million, which is certainly going to change this offseason. But he is somebody that is going to have to be really, really good throughout the 3 years of this video if he wants to help lead us to a championship, which I think is entirely possible. Of course, 2-3 years away from this here scenario, he actually helped Toronto win a championship. It sucks DeMar couldn't have been there as well, but Kyle Lowry, obviously one of the greatest Raptors, if not the greatest, in history. Now, the backup point guard spot, we certainly have some nice depth pieces. Corey Joseph's 25 on a 2-year, roughly $15 million deal. We got DeLon Wright, who's only 24, a little bit lower in the overall department, and then, of course, Fred VanVleet, who's also 22 and also a 72 overall. So he is certainly somebody that I think is going to take a big step today. I hope that his progression goes well enough so he can be an impactful piece. But of course, we know Fred VanVleet obviously turned into a pretty good NBA player. We head to the shooting guard spot. Now, DeMar DeRozan, who I am assuming is still loved by many in Toronto, unfortunately was not able to win a championship with this team. And as much as it probably sucks for DeMar, and it probably sucked watching, basically your franchise player get traded, I don't think any Raptors fans would change it, because what Kawhi Leonard did in his one season here in Toronto was nothing short of special and a miracle, and it was crazy. But my goal today is to get DeMar a championship, so I'm excited for it. We got a 23-year-old Norman Powell here. He's already at a 75 overall, which is certainly very nice to see. Undoubtedly will be a nice role player today through this video. Now, the small forward spot with Terrence Ross, Damari Carroll, and whoever the hell Jan Perry is certainly something I'd like to maybe upgrade at some point in time. Nothing against Ross or Carroll, but I'd like to get somebody a little bit better there in that starting lineup. Now we head to the power forward spot. Of course, Serge Ibaka probably would be here and in this starting lineup if he were, in this era of 2K, but he is not. So we are working with Pascal Siakam and Patrick Patterson, which are not bad options. I don't want people to think that these options are just absolutely dreadful, but an 81 or 82 overall Ibaka would have been a little bit better. And then finally, the center spot, Jonas Valanciunas, who I think he's an okay center. He's 24 years old at this point in time, of course, still in the NBA today. He's an 80 overall, and I certainly don't mind him. I would like to make a little bit of an upgrade at this center spot, just as the Toronto Raptors did in real life. And then we got Jared Sullinger, who's 24 right here, and then finally Jakob Poeltl. So we have some pretty good depth on this team. I mean, compared to what I was working with in some of the other Curry era rebuilds, this team's pretty much almost 100% complete. I think Ibaka is really just the only guy missing. So we are going to make a couple trades before we kick off year one, but I do like where this team's at already. Our first trade of today's video is going to be a deal here with the Utah Jazz. Now, on paper, this one might not make a ton of sense to some of you. Let me just explain my thought process. Now, Patrick Patterson and Jared Sullinger are both fine rotation pieces. Unfortunately, they are both expiring contracts, and I wasn't really sure if I was going to extend either of them. Now, Derek Favors is a clear-cut upgrade at the power forward spot. At a 78 overall, he's 25 years old and, of course, on a multi-year deal. So this is a move just to kind of upgrade the starting five for now. I'm not saying that Favors will be my guy for the entirety of this video, but he's a clear-cut upgrade over Patterson, and unfortunately for Siakam, he is also a clear-cut upgrade. So welcome to the team, Derek Favors. Excited to have him here. That's actually going to end up being the one and only trade we make before we kick off year one. Now, I did consider a few other moves to maybe bolster the depth on this team a little bit, because we have a lot of it, and unfortunately not everybody's going to be able to get minutes, but that is something we will address in the offseason, most notably because they're all on multi-year contracts. Now, let's get into it a little bit. Starting five, probably not a lot of surprises. With Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan as our backcourt, Terrence Ross going to be my starting small forward. We obviously just brought in Derek Favors, and then Jonas Valanciunas rounding out the starting five. Now, the bench unit's actually pretty good. It's going to be Corey Joseph here as my sixth man. You got Pascal Siakam behind him, Norman Powell, Damari Carroll, and then Jakob Poeltl. So, we obviously moved on from Jared Sullinger and Patrick Patterson. Just the depth we had at our big man spots already, especially with Poeltl, was really the reason we were able to do that. So, unfortunately, Fred VanVleet's not going to be playing. Neither is DeLon Wright. We will, either find a spot for them in the rotation this offseason, or we will move on from them. But as of now, they will ride the bench. This team is, of course, pretty talented, and I expect to be top 3 or 4 seed here in the East. This, of course, is under Stephen Butler, whoever the hell that is, because Dwayne Casey's not in the game. So that's where we're at for now. I will see you guys at the end of year number 1 here in Toronto. Unbelievably strong way to kick off our first season here with the Raptors. We go 66-16, which is a lot better than I thought we were going to be. I mean, again, this team won 51 games in real life, and we really didn't even do that much when you consider it. So I, of course, will take it. Now, Steph Curry's your MVP. Maybe we'll run into them in the finals. It's not going to be very fun. Joel Embiid, Rookie of the Year. Jared Sullinger feels like always wins Sixth Man of the Year in these videos. Normally it's with the Raptors. Of course, we traded him, though. So now he's with the Jazz. Giannis is your D-boy. Nikola Jokic, most improved in 69-13. We didn't have the best record in the league. That belongs to Steve Kerr in the Golden State Warriors. So it is time for the standings. We tied with the Cavs here for the 1 seed. So, I guess the good news is we won't have to see them till the East Finals. If we were to meet up, we have the 36-46 Indiana Pacers in round 1. Here's a look at the Western Conference if you'd like to pause. Now let's go over some of the numbers real quick on the season. DeMar DeRozan was absolutely fantastic for us. Kyle Lowry, really strong season out of him. Terrence Ross, Favors, Valanciunas. It looks like we're relatively well spread out, but I don't know why. To me, it just doesn't look like we scored a ton of points. Anyways, but it is what it is. As we mentioned, it is us in Indiana here in round 1. Now, Jeff Teague, Rodney Stuckey, Paul George, Udonis Haslem is now a Pacer. They willingly traded for Udonis. Okay. Miles Turner, Glenn Robinson, Aaron Brooks. Paul George is, a fantastic player. I just think we're a much better and more well-rounded team. So that being said, we're 2-2. We do go up 3-2, and we are on to the Eastern Conference semifinals, where we are taking on the Chicago Bulls. Ricky Rubio, Dwayne Wade, Jimmy Butler. I've already rebuilt this team, and it was an interesting one, to say the least. So I think we're better than them as well. I don't really think there's much debate around that. Up 3-2 right now. They force Game 7, and we do win Game 7. Now, here comes maybe the end of the road for us, because as good as we have been and as good as we are, I know I've seen this story a million times. We know how this one plays out. LeBron James pretty much owns the Toronto Raptors franchise. It's unfortunate for us right now, but it is the reality of it. So here goes nothing. Let's see what ends up happening. We lose Game 1 at home, do win Game 2. Okay. They tie it up at 2. We go up 3-2. We're in the finals. We are in the finals. It is the 2017 NBA Finals, and we were just doing the 2019 Finals 2 years early. Okay, now, if we are able to beat LeBron, maybe part of me says we can beat this Warriors team. Not that LeBron, beat this version of the Warriors team, but you get my point. We've been able to beat really good teams, and, I don't think we will, but I think maybe we have a fighting chance. We win Game 1. Okay. No. Okay. Up 3-2, back home on our home floor. Oh my God. We held this team. That is 27 points for them in the first half. That is so fucking crazy. And we're going to be winning a championship here in year 1. What the hell? Now, I don't want anybody to think that this rebuild is over, or that we are going to, kind of not try as much moving into the rest of this, because we are. We're going to still try to build a much better team, but I am honestly so surprised that we're going to be able to do this. Like, this Warriors team is maybe the best team in the history of the sport, and we're going to beat them with this group. I mean, it's nothing against them, but I mean, when I think about that 2019 team that beat the Warriors, obviously there were several, big factors in that championship, and it's nothing to diss the Warriors or the Raptors. It's just the reality of it, is that Kevin Durant went down with an injury, Klay Thompson went down with an injury, but that Raptors team was really good. I don't think anybody, discredits them as a really talented team, but this cast of characters here, knocking out a fully healthy Warriors group, is so insane to me. I actually cannot really believe it, but obviously a great start to this rebuild. You know, now we have the opportunity to maybe win 2 or 3 of these championships throughout this one. So I'm super happy, especially that DeMar is going to be getting a ring. I mean, that was kind of my main goal throughout the entirety of this video. But I know this, again, era of Raptors basketball was probably a fun one for Raptors fans because you were always really good. You were just never really great. So, we're smoking that, DeMar? I'm just going to kind of ride this thing out right here. Again, I feel like I don't even feel like I don't even feel like I can keep up in the game. Like, I feel like I'm just getting cooked on pretty much all levels. So thankfully this one is basically out of reach, if you will. But I'm just so surprised that this was the team to get it done. And it's not, you know, an indictment on the guys that are with this group, but like Terrence Ross, Derek Favors in the starting 5. I just didn't see it coming. But obviously it has happened, and it is going to happen. So we will just kind of ride this thing out. We'll do one or two more possessions here. Lowry, give me a quick 3. Kyle, I haven't hit a fucking basket yet. Oh my God. I need to score. I cannot end this thing without scoring. So Klay Thompson's going to probably just work. Oh boy, free throw. Okay, good God. I jumped. Okay, he picked up his dribble. All right, they're going to kick it out to shoot. Oh no. Oh no. That's not a good idea. How the hell did Klay Thompson miss that? All right, I feel like I need to score a basket. I cannot. Okay, Lowry, thank you. Now we're good. Well, the starts don't get any better than that to the rebuild. It is a championship in year 1, and Kyle Lowry is the finals MVP. Now, it would have been cool to see DeMar get it, but Kyle Lowry get it. No, nobody's going to complain. Okay, well, it is time for the offseason, and typically this is the point where I have to make a lot of decisions in terms of personnel and all that stuff. And that's not to say that I'm just going to kind of half-ass this offseason, but we maybe don't have as many big decisions now, if you will. Suns, Hornets, Magic, or 76ers, Magic, Celtics. Let's head up to staff signing, of course. You know, Dwayne Casey's not in the game. So, who is this? Okay. This is actually mind-blowing that we won a championship, given the ratings of this guy, Stephen Butler, whoever the hell you are. Now, it's pretty crazy to me, just the idea of, you know, firing a head coach after winning a championship. But I can't work with this, right? It'd be idiotic, basically. Doc Rivers. This could be a fun style for a video. If he wants to come here, sure. Welcome to the team. I don't know. Whatever. Let's head up to the draft, see what we're working with here. We do have the 22nd overall pick from the Clippers. We do not have our own first-round pick. Not really sure where it is, but we'll draft somebody at 22. See who's sitting there. We already have a lot of quality depth. And wow, Jarrett Allen sitting here? Yeah, no disrespect to, you know, Luke Kennard or Luke Cornett. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute here. Okay, I understand that when you use the 2K, like, old draft class, like, this is like the 2018 draft class, right? Or 2017, whatever it is. I understand that, but why is there not I almost have to just because it's so funny, but Jarrett Allen is here, and I'm obviously going to take him. So, yeah, now there's 2 Steph Currys in the NBA. They took Kyle Kuzma, number 1 overall. Allen's actually a 74, which is really, really good. I'm going to bring back Van Vliet, Powell, and then Wright, and obviously getting Kyle Lowry back is my first priority right now. But, wow, this free agency class is so fucking loaded. But, yeah, I'm just going to pay Kyle Lowry. We're not really going to sweat that one too much. I will see you guys with the trade. We're going to talk to the Milwaukee Bucks and see if we can maybe pick up Chris Middleton in a deal with them. Now, Terrence Ross, Jakob Poeltl, and DeLon Wright are all kind of in this deal for different reasons. Now, Terrence Ross is in here mostly to make the money work, and obviously Middleton would take over at the starting small forward spot. Jakob Poeltl, I was actually kind of excited to see how kind of panned out in this video, but then we kind of got a steal in Jarrett Allen, who is actually already a higher overall than Poeltl. And then DeLon Wright was just never going to play, given the backup point guard depth we have. So let's see. Wow, that was actually a lot easier than I thought. So welcome to the team, Chris Middleton. Super excited to have him here, and I don't really think there's any other major moves before we go ahead and kick off year number 2. So I know the point guard spot's going to be kind of weird because Fred VanVleet is going to be expiring after this year. I know how good Fred VanVleet eventually is going to be. I just don't think within the 3 years of this rebuild he's actually ever going to be able to get to that point. So I'll consider some off. Actually, you know what I could do? Do I maybe combine him and Corey Joseph or Norman Powell and just see if I can get a little upgrade there? Like, is that the worst idea in the world? Or do I maybe do that with the power forward spot? Like, if I do this and, like, throw in a first-round pick, is there any, you know, significantly better backup or starting power forwards? I mean, I doubt it. I'm probably going to have to look. But, like, Julius Randle? Would I prefer a 22-year-old Julius Randle? I think I might. I think I might. And then we'd have JaVale McGee, who probably, well, he actually might play. I just think would likely be a better option. You know what? Fuck it. Let's do it. Let's go ahead and pick up Julius Randle here in a deal with the Lakers. I actually don't really want to play JaVale McGee. I kind of want to let Jared Allen play. So JaVale McGee's actually just going to kind of come off the bench, and maybe he's a trade piece next season. So I'll see you guys in the rotation. Last season was a shocker, to say the least. This was a team that we knew was going to be good. We knew they obviously had the talent, but we never thought there was even a remote chance that we got by LeBron and the Cavs, and never even mind Steph, KD, and the rest of the Warriors. So last season was super fun. Maybe a little bit of a Cinderella run, but that's also kind of crazy because we won 60-plus games. Nonetheless, we won a championship. This season, we are ready to go and hopefully looking to repeat. We obviously did make some pretty big moves, obviously adding Chris Middleton and Julius Randle. Maybe not necessary, but part of the rebuild. So Lowry, DeRozan, Middleton, Randle, Valanciunas 1 through 5. Bench unit is going to be Powell, Siakam, Corey Joseph, Damari Carroll, and Jarrett Allen. Now, the funny thing is, if I auto-set this rotation, it actually wants JaVale McGee to be my 6th man because he is the highest overall coming off the bench. But I'm going to play the young Jarrett Allen, who is 19 years of age and probably has a little bit more upside at this point. So I'm excited. Obviously, I have a new head coach as well. So really, what's stopping us at this point? I don't know. I'll see you guys at the end of the final year number 2. We've done nothing but dominate the NBA since we started this rebuild. We go 67-15 here, wrapping up year 2. It is another insanely strong season and hopefully another championship. Now, LeBron James out here winning MVPs. Lonzo Ball is your rookie of the year in Orlando. Tyreek Evans, 6th man of the year. Giannis wins DPOY. Chris Dunn, most improved. And Ty Lue, wow, 69-13. So we actually aren't the 1 seed here in the East. That's kind of crazy. But let's take a look at the full standings. 2 games behind the Cavaliers. Wow, 3 60-plus win teams is crazy. And the Sacramento Kings winning 60 games. They are leading the Western Conference at this point. So here are the numbers. You know, a little bit more spread out with the addition of Middleton and Randle, but nothing too crazy that's jumping out to me. Rebound's going to be Valanciunas, and assist is going to be Kyle Lowry. So us and the Wizards here, I don't know how many times I've won 60-plus games and not been the 1 seed, but that's where we are. John Wall is not in here. Oh, it's unfortunate. I know there are custom rosters that I will likely be using if there's like a John Wall-esque caliber player missing from a team, so I will do that for future videos. But Pat Anderson now in the backcourt with Bradley Beal. So I think we're going to be winning this one, probably not going to be too much of it. Well, maybe it's going to be a little bit of a sweat. Up 3-2, and we are going to Game 7. And we lose. We end up getting bounced in round 1. Did we get a little too ahead of ourselves? We might have. Oh, man. Middleton, I need more from you. Valanciunas, ugh. And this is through a 7-game series as well. Wow, that is about as disappointing of an outcome as we can have. And so we are... Oh, that makes a little bit more sense. Okay, well, that is a shocker, to say the least. It's a disappointing ending. After what was a really, really great first season, and I thought we were even better heading into year 2. But nope, we were not. So we are going to... regroup, reset, and maybe make a few changes. So let's hit the draft lottery real quick. We are not going to have a pick in this, so you can take a look right there. If you'd like, let's head up to the coaching department. I mean, we had a coach with probably the ratings I would get if I was an NBA coach, and then we brought in legitimately the GOAT because he's perfect rating in Mike Stauffer, and we got a lot worse, apparently. So that's how that works. All right, let's see the draft. I believe we traded our first-round pick. We don't have it anyways. It is what it is. Joseph ends up accepting his roughly $8 million player option. We are going to bring back Siakam as well. And then Powell and Randle, we are going to we're going to pay both those guys because we are, pretty much useless without them. So let's pay both. They are, wow, Julius Randle wants $20 million a year. Okay. Well, we're going to pay them both for now. And I think we are going to make a pretty big move now. Okay, we just pulled off a deal with the Detroit Pistons and landed ourselves a nice upgrade at the center spot. Now, Andre Drummond is not, some Hall of Fame talent. He is actually one of the best rebounders of all time, but he is a clear-cut upgrade over Jonas Valanciunas. So we gave up him, JaVale McGee, a couple first-round picks, and adding an 87 overall as our center is certainly fine by me. So I'm excited to have Drummond here. I think he's going to be a great benefit to this team. I considered maybe a little upgrade at the power forward spot for the second straight offseason, but we did just pay Randle. He's only 23. I'm sure he'll get better. Now what I do want to consider is maybe a bench move or two because as, decent as our bench is, I would say is a good term, I think it can be a little bit better. So I'm actually going to look to maybe move off of Damari Carroll in his $15 million salary and just kind of take a look at some of the options we have here. A guy like Taurean Prince, I think this would be a better decision for us. I think he's younger. He's already a higher overall. And I just think overall-wise, it makes a lot more sense for us. So, you know what? Let's pick up Taurean Prince here in a deal with the Atlanta Hawks. Welcome to the team. And is there any other moves I want to make? I'm going to probably let Siakam and Allen run the backup 4 and 5. Obviously, just picked up Prince. And then Powell. Could I do something here with Corey Joseph, maybe? I mean, I would consider, like, TJ McConnell. Okay. Oh, man. You know what? Why the hell not? We'll just keep things intact, I guess, for now. I'm not really seeing anything that's jumping out at me too much. So I'll just see you guys at the start of year 3. After a wildly successful first season, year number 2 ended about as poorly as it possibly could have. We won 67 games and then lost in round 1. That can't happen. Now, this offseason, we decided to make some nice upgrades to this team. Andre Drummond is a wonderful addition at our center spot. Bench unit's also looking a little stronger. Got some nice development from some of the younger guys, and I think we are in a prime spot to hopefully win 60-plus games again and hopefully a second championship. Now, Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, Chris Middleton, Julius Randle, and Andre Drummond is going to be 1 through 5. Siakam taking over as 6th man off the bench. You got Norman Powell behind him, Taurean Prince, Jarrett Allen, and then Corey Joseph. So I'm excited for this team. I think there are a lot of possibilities with this group, and hopefully by playoff time they lock it the fuck in, because they sure as shit didn't do that last year. I'll see you guys at the end of year 3. Year 3 sees us finish with our best record to date, 69-13. Nice. Now, Russell Westbrook is now a member of the Dallas Mavericks. He is winning MVPs with a 31-point triple-double. That is insane. Luka Doncic, now at number 1 overall to Orlando. He's your rookie of the year. Tyreek Evans, once again, 6th man. Giannis, once again, Depoy. Cameron Payne, most improved. And our guy, Mr. Mike Stalfort, leading the charge in winning coach of the year. So, we are the 1 seed here. Once again, we were the 1 seed in year 1, number 2 seed in year 2, number 1 seed in year 3. Denver's pretty good as well. I think we are really, really good, and we were also really, really good last year. So I am just hoping that everybody can be very consistent with how they played throughout an 82 game regular season. There's the term I'm looking for. And hopefully we can get back to the finals and win another one. So here's a look at Atlanta, who is pretty good. You know, Paul Millsap leading the charge here. Nothing too crazy. I think this team is easily beatable. So I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself, as I thought same thing just a season ago. But we sweep them. Now moving on to the Philadelphia 76ers with Ben Simmons. CJ McCollum now somehow here. What the fuck? Yeah, Donovan Mitchell coming off the bench. Okay. This is not a walk in the park. At least I don't. Maybe it is. Okay. Up 3-1. We win in 5. Back to the Eastern Conference Finals. Isaiah Thomas. Oh, man. I miss him. I do. Not going to lie. Temple, JB, Larry Markkinen. You got Al Horford, Jay Crowder, Scary Terry. So, they're really good. And, okay, maybe they're a lot better than I thought they were. Okay. We've lost every game on our home floor so far. Won every game on the road. And we finally do win a Game 7. Okay, the Kings won it all last year because they signed Steph Curry. Steph and Boogie would be an insane duo. They also have Darren Collison, Rudy Gay, and John Collins. Got JJ Barea coming off the bench. They obviously have the best player. I think we have a better team. Up 3-0, sweep them. Kyle Lowry, second finals MVP of this video. Wow. What a way to cap this one off. This was such an interesting video with the way this one went, right? Because we started off really, really good. Like about as good as you can get. You know, we had a team that was obviously talented, but we didn't think they were nearly good enough to win a championship. That happened, and then year 2, we were like, hey, we're here. Now the whole league is ours, and obviously ended up choking pretty badly and then regrouped, won another championship. So this one was successful. Of course, the Raptors are not the hardest team to rebuild from this era. I know people probably want to see some harder rebuilds, and I don't mind doing them. It's just, right now what I'm doing is going off of the comments I see the most. I'm not necessarily picking and choosing these teams myself. The comments I see more often, the comments that are more like than others, those are the teams that I'm rebuilding sooner, if that makes any sense. So if you want to comment the team you want me to rebuild next, and if you see a comment that you want me to do, like the comment. Lets me know that you guys want me to do it next. So this one was fun, though. Raptors fans, I'm sure this would have been a fun ending if you actually could have gotten a ring with DeMar, but we're good. So hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know any other rebuild ideas down below in the comment section. As always, thanks so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys all in the next one.